Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us with that break while all the teams and staff and players and casters all got refreshed and had some food after, a bit of a long day. We started pretty late on into the day, but again, I am Stress. Alongside me is Excoundrel, and we're headed into the picks and bans for Mango eSports versus Perilous Void. You asked for them, we're giving you them.
Yeah, here we go. Perilous Void, a team that's been around for quite a while in the UK scene. We've seen some friendly faces that I've seen before here. We've got Sam Hodge, Thresher, Explosive, and Das, formerly of Infused Gaming. And we, even though it says not Das, not to confuse you guys, that is Das. But anyway, we're heading into the picks and bans phase, and we've got Vayne being banned out, probably to target the Perilous Void's AD carry roster. Sam Hodge, Explosive is quite a good Vayne player. Jack's being picked up too. Evelyn and Kha'Zix coming down, two standard jungle bans in this current season. Nothing out of the ordinary bar the Vayne, I would say. Jack's also a fairly hot ban because he can really wreck the jungle with that new Feral Flare item.
Yeah, we've also seen a lot of Jax in the top lane recently as well. It just, again, we've seen so much Ryze, Jax, Renekton. That's like it. And then Shen from now and again when he's allowed. And, just these late game scaling, or at least top laners that just have some extra utility to them, like Shen's teleport. LeBlanc is going to round out our bans. And that means, first pick, what's available. So, some of the hot jungle picks are still allowed. I know Lee Sin is pretty highly contested. Not so much in current because of Feral Flare changes has dropped off. But typically at I-Series, we see a lot of Lee Sin
Haven't seen one yet, though. Haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, and that's kind of weird because every time, and I think I've done like 6 now, of course, Ryze is available.
Ryze, big pick, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I started talking about Lee Sin when Ryze is available. But all I'm saying is I expect somebody to pick it, but Aatrox is banned.
I believe Aatrox is banned from the current roster, so Sam Hodge maybe going to pick up the Caitlyn instead by being hovered over, so is Renekton. I just want to pick up on the fact that Lee Sin is becoming less and less of a popular pick these days, mainly because the nerfs and changes to his safeguard, which means that his cooldown is double unless he uses it to target himself or a friendly champion. It makes the so-called insect move, where you jump behind the target after using your resonating strike and getting your Dragon's Rage kick off. It means that now is a less viable trade because you cannot then escape after 5 seconds or 6 seconds with another safeguard. You now have to wait 11 seconds, which means often you'll be trading 1-for-1 instead of being able to get out scot-free with a ward jump or something similar. So it does mean that Lee Sin, especially when the weird thing about Lee Sin Stress is that unless you can pull off those plays late game, he doesn't have much real potential other than to use Tempest and Cripple to try and peel, and Dragon's Rage to get a bruiser away from your carry. And now that is a less viable engage for that Lee Sin, it means that he's starting to drop off, and other junglers are coming to the forefront. And like you said, it is a combination of both the safeguard changes and the Feral Flare changes, which you were so right to pick up.
Yeah, it's one of those things I just had a flashback. For some reason I pictured you a Pulse for a second there, and I was at I-50, because it just all feels the same. Yeah, of course, much more current things happening in this game. The Shyvana pickup are very similar with that Feral Flare that we were talking about. I kind of expect that to be jungle. Still could be top lane, but I mean, a lot has changed in that top lane.
Yeah, Vi being hovered over here. Now, we haven't seen her too often because of the Feral Flare changes. Now, she has got a decent clear time, especially if she has 2 charges of her E-up. I can't quite remember the name, but you know, the Explosive Fist AoE skill.
Yeah, Denting Blows.
Denting Blows is her W, which is every three attacks she shreds armor. Don't worry, we'll get there.
I should know.
So yeah, she has got a decent clear time, especially with a max Vault Breaker. She can usually one-shot the smaller minions, and Denting Blows will finish off the epic minions.
You've got me wondering what that is now. I'm having a funny 5 minutes here, so just disregard me for this champion select, as I'm just going to be completely wrong for the next couple of minutes.
Well, I will pick it up for you right now. Her E is called Excessive Force.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
once
she has those 2 stacks up, she can clear the jungle fairly quickly, especially if she positions herself properly behind all of the minions, encompassing them in that AoE cone that Excessive Force does offer you. Denting Blows then can finish off the epic minions, obviously shredding armor after 3 attacks. Now, I haven't seen much of Vi with Feral Flare, mainly because you don't tend to build her attack speed. You tend to go for the high damage, so you get the Vault Breaker damage off, followed into the Assault and Battery and things like that. She can go attack speed though because of that Denting Blows, but I don't know if you remember when Vi was first released. Her attack speed bonus and armor penetrating bonus from the 3 hits of Denting Blows were really ludicrously high. So her percentage health damage that she did after each 3 hit was ludicrously high. So it got nerfed, so building attack speed on Vi was no longer viable, or as viable rather. But with Feral Flare coming back into the fray, it'll be really interesting. Now, we've seen a lot of people hover over Urgot. Now, there was that the Reddit post recently that Urgot had actually risen to the top of Challenger win rates because Yellow Pete had played him about 4 or 5 times in challenging games, but I don't think it makes him any more viable. He's got a very niche pick, and the current meta, no one really picks for that kind of niche area that Urgot provides. He is that sort of close-range lane bully, and with the hard engage of people like Thresh and Leona, he's not tanky enough to cope with that, so yeah, Urgot not really that viable. Whereas
we are seeing a lot of Twitch. Yeah. Pretty highly contested, which he kind of just snuck back in, which is, I guess, apt.
Apt for Twitch, you know? He just stealthed back onto the scene. Interesting, because Twitch hasn't been changed. Nothing was changed for Twitch. He's always been a very good AD carry. Like, there's been nothing wrong with Twitch. He just has a very low base health pool. It just makes him very open to being burst very quickly, which the likes of Jinx and Lucian burst pretty quickly, and Twitch unfortunately can get caught out like that. But yeah, Twitch coming back into the scene a lot more, especially in pro play. We've started to see Twitch, like in the EU LCS finals between Fnatic and SK. I think we saw Twitch pick twice out of those 4 games, and we also saw it in OGN. Now, which series was it? It was this week. I think it might have been the SK Ozone. I think it might have been the SK Ozone, because they had the interview with one of the teams. I'm not going to spoil the result. No, we won't. That would be me. Not the Reddit guru has already predicted most
exactly. But just in case anybody's watching, so they had an interview with the winning team, and they said, well, they play Twitch, so I thought I wanted to play Twitch. So, yeah.
I mean, there's literally nothing wrong with Twitch. He's got a really brutal level 2. If you can get his passive stacks up and then using Expunge to get the damage off, and especially with Thresh, if you can catch them off guard, you can get 6 stacks down pretty easily. We haven't really rounded off the rest of the team here, but we do have Explosive on the Lissandra. We've got Morgana probably going in that support role. We've got Thresher running a Clarity Revive Lulu, which I assume is going to change before they go in. Yes, they do. All of the sudden has changed at the last minute. So I would assume that that's going to be a Lulu mid lane. That's going to be Explosive in the top lane with Lissandra. So they were lying to us. They weren't in order. Not Das on Shyvana in the jungle. So we're going to see a heavy farm jungler coming out again with that Feral Flare and Wriggle's Lantern. And in the bot lane, we have a good counter to the Twitch Thresh lane with the Morgana and the Caitlyn. Twitch is very susceptible to auto attacks early on. You know, he hasn't got the longest range of AD carries. I think he has the 525 standard range.
Yeah.
And Thresh cannot engage on someone with a black shield. Obviously, he can get the hook off and can transport himself to them. Can't get the slowdown, can't get the stun that the hook provides, and then they can just walk through the wall scot-free. So, Morgana again, that really hot support pick at the moment.
Yeah, there's another interesting thing with Twitch is he's very similar to all escapeless AD carries. While it's not a particular drawback of Twitch himself, as soon as flash is burned during the laning phase, you are in a lot of trouble, because you are so susceptible. The amount of time that it takes for stealth to kick in typically isn't enough to keep yourself alive if you have no flash. So that's one of his limitations, but again, that's more of a general kind of Jinx, Twitch, that kind of no dash.
Yeah, they don't have an instant displacement ability that Caitlyn has, that Graves has.
Yeah,
you know, Twitch only has that stealth, which does get delayed as he's taking damage, and you know, with Twitch's low base health, he can die very easily before he goes into that stealth. But once he's in that stealth, unless the pink ward comes down, he's fairly safe. And he's not like a Kali. If you stick a pink ward down, he actually gets movement speed bonus while in stealth, so can actually escape from that range fairly easily. Interestingly enough, we've seen the double heal coming out on the side of Mango. It's something that we've seen fairly in sort of copious amounts recently. Who was it that the Fnatic all heal comp that they ran? The many shields and many heals that we saw come out.
Kale, Lulu, Soraka double heal.
Yeah, disgusting.
Oh,
it was a brutal game to watch, because you just knew they were never going to die. And we have the double heal coming out here, and because of the recent changes to heal providing movement speed and scaling as well as barrier does, barrier has almost been forced out of the game here. I mean, it's heal is weaker in early levels. It can still be affected by ignite, so if you're ignited and heal, it actually removes the ignite, but the debuff is still there, so you actually still receive half healing. But it does scale into the late game, so it now does equal damage that equal healing that barrier provides absorption, but then you can get the half heal to the rest of your team. So again, it's a no-brainer right now. Everyone is just taking heal.
Yeah, it's the same with exhaust coming back in, rather than, because a lot of the time we were seeing AD carries running the defensive summoner ability, like we're seeing here with the heal, but typically would be that barrier that you're saying, and the supports would be the ones running ignite in lane. However, with that extra changes to exhaust, now they're just able to get that extra damage reduction in lane, really prevents anything from coming to those early fights. So it means you're less likely to burn your flash. If you can get that damage reduction, if you don't get caught too much, you can reduce a lot of the impact of the early fights with that exhaust.
Yeah, and now that it has the 50% damage reduction, it's really anti-assassin. There's so much anti-assassin potential in that exhaust, and that's why they're probably opting to take 2 of it. If you get that exhaust onto Twitch, if you get that exhaust onto Ryze, these late game carries, if you get 1 exhaust in a meaningful team fight, kind of halves their potential for that period of time. Which is why the late game carries are sort of now becoming less and less relevant because of the exhaust, and building on teams around good compositions as opposed to late game singular carries, which is why I think, although we have been seeing Vayne, it's why she's slipping out of the bot lane now as well, because if you get an exhaust onto Vayne in a late game team fight, if she is your sole hyper carry, then you're going to be struggling, especially if there's multiple exhausts on the team. So
indeed. We are now into the game though, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of expecting a pause, as always, with League of Legends games.
Well, fingers crossed, Stress, that it doesn't happen.
I'm hoping.
Right, so we've got pings coming down here for the side of Perilous. They're pinging to protect their jungle. We've seen this from the top of a lot of the top challenger teams. Sort of our higher seeds are not opting to invade. They're going for this 5-man spread to defend their jungles, and the sort of more up-and-coming seeded teams are looking for the invades. But it does look like Mango are going to get caught out by Lulu, who made a good quick jump, and she's going to get caught out by the hook. Don't know if they're going to jump in onto her straight away. The Rune Prison comes down. Is Thresher going to go down here? Wow, the auto attack from Ziggs on the short fuse, picking up the kill, and that was just a bit of a misplay by Thresher. Got caught out way too easily. Yeah,
that was a really easy pick there, and Mango will just take a kill. A free kill at the beginning of the game. The only person that didn't get an assist there is Twitch. They might have liked that, but it's so early in the game that, of course, that's not the full first blood.
It's not the biggest. It's not the biggest of leads that First Blood provides anymore. It has had its damage reduced. Sorry, it's gold that it provides reduced damage. What am I talking about? The gold that it provides reduced. So I think it's 200 gold for a First Blood now instead of 400, I believe it was before.
Yeah,
so
I think that's before a certain point in. I think it's before 4 minutes.
Yeah, before 4 minutes. So these early First Bloods that could win games are no longer the case anymore. And as you can see, Ziggs hasn't backed to buy anything meaningful, because actually you could probably back and get a ward and some pots, but if you're going to want to stay in lane and get the CS, then it's not that difficult. And also providing the cover for Vi's red buff now that Lulu got caught out. People can often sort of invade and counter invade right at that last moment, thinking that Ziggs may have gone back. So it's a good call from Ziggs to stay. He'll take that early lead and then head back, and possibly head back later to pick up a big item. That 200 gold might just help him out.
Doesn't look like we're going to see any kind of lane swaps, anything like that. So
not seen any yet this tournament.
No, we haven't actually. So it will be business as usual, because I know obviously North American LCS is currently on, but we've seen a lot of lane swaps in North American LCS.
Oh, a hook's going to go down onto Morgana here. A couple of hits coming out on Expunge, but that's what I'm talking about. Thresh actually taking the hook first means he loses a bit of trade potential in lane, not having the powered auto attack that Flay provides. And actually, interestingly enough, Caitlyn and Morgana were into the lane well before Twitch and Thresh, meaning they were going to push pretty hard for that level 2.
Yeah, and if they can hit that level 2, that's kind of crucial, because Morgana as a support really doesn't reach any kind of potential until you have both Dark Blinding and the Black Shield. If you get caught in that trap where your opponents reach level 2 first, they have the higher crowd control. If you don't have Black Shield, because Morgana wouldn't take that first, you're pretty useless.
Yeah. Oh, Ryze doing a good job of bullying this Lissandra in the top lane. Lissandra, not a pick that we see too often now, Stress. She kind of fell out of favour because of her low damage potential that she provides. She's great utility, but there are other champions that have higher damage and provide the same sort of thing. Twitch actually taking a lot of damage in this bot lane. Nearly down. If he gets caught in a Dark Binding, I fear for his life. And,
I mean, he's going to be forced to... I would have to assume Flash if that were the case. If he doesn't instantly die, that's a nice hook.
Down, but I don't think they're going to follow up because of how unhealthy Twitch is.
Yeah, Twitch is pretty low. That build over Peacemaker just grazing.
He does get caught. but luckily Thresh is there, and Caitlyn wasn't in a position to get a bit of damage off. Tilted the Peacemaker being on cooldown from that last engage.
But yeah. In the middle lane, the Thresher forced to flash out. There's just a lot of bullying going on across the map. Dark Binding is blocked out, but the Piltover actually chunked through.
Yeah, Twitch is in a really precarious position right now. Heal comes down already, but look how low Twitch is still. A flash headshot may even be able to finish him off. And look, the Piltover Peacemaker comes out. He has got so little health. Vi comes in with the flash. There is flash available for Sam Hodge and for Morgana right now. Good gank, probably not worth the flash though.
Yeah, not sure about the flash, because there didn't really look to be a situation where Sam Hodge and Clarify really wanted to go aggressive on that. I mean, I don't know whether the flash is all that worth it.
Probably not. Vi's flash Q is a really potent surprise counter gank mechanic, and now she doesn't have that for the next 5 minutes, so she's going to be struggling a bit there. Ryze actually already picked up his tier, so he's ahead of the game in terms of building him towards his late game mana pool that he needs. Interesting enough, I wanted to pick up on a thing you were talking about right at the start. We haven't seen any lane swaps coming out here, and with the current LCS meta, lane swaps seems to be what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you see a lane swap against a Ryze, which typically puts him further behind. He struggles to get the ball rolling, but Ryze is a champion that at some point in the game will actively look for free farm for a good 5 to 10 minutes. If he can freeze a wave after a tower has gone down, he can easily get back into a game, and then just as soon as his core items are completed, we'll start to face roll everybody in the later game team fights. But this 1v1 situation is doing a kind of a similar thing with putting Ryze behind, as Lissandra not only is having lane control right now, but will also have dragon control with that teleport. But it's not putting Ryze as far behind as you'd expect from a lane swap, so it's not that crushing.
Yeah, I mean, he's currently half the CS of Lissandra, so he's not having the best time in the world. However, if this was a lane swap, he probably would be even further behind.
Yeah.
And he's already got that tier, so CS right now not going to be vital for his sort of scaling, as he has the mainstay of his scaling ability right there, which is his mana. Vi coming into the top lane is going to try and catch out Explosive. The Ring of Frost comes down to try and slow him down, but look how hard he's going onto it. He really wants to get him off, and Rune Prison comes down. There is no Ignite though, so there's not going to be a kill, and Explosive jumps out with that Glacial path right now.
Yeah, no one at that point had ultimates available, but here comes Das. He's going to get Rune Prisoned in place and actually thinks twice about heading into the lane at all. So, I mean, there's a lot of action all across the map, but without ultimates, there really aren't just going to be many kills here.
Again, we're seeing Das play the way we would expect a Shyvana jungle to play right now. She's 10 CS up on the Vi, has completed her Madred's Razors, so we'll be looking towards building that Feral Flare fairly quickly. Vi, on the other hand, not opting for the Feral Flare. Like we said, we didn't think she would, probably going towards that Spirit of the Lizard Elder. And now, Thrasher's actually getting the better of Lemstar on the Ziggs in the mid lane. And in the bot lane, we just missed a bit of action. Twitch inevitably going down as we thought he would. I think Thresh possibly trying to save him with the Lantern there. Thresh trying to get a hook off, but no one there to back it up. So dangerous game that he's playing right now, with the turret especially being so low. Yeah,
we caught it on stream. It was a nice Dark Binding. However, in the middle lane, looks like Das is getting ready to go, but he actually showed himself in that middle lane way too early on. But down in that bottom lane, that tower is going to go down after they manage to secure the Dark Binding onto Twitch, taking down the tower pretty soon. I guess they just want to just keep it around. There we go. It will end up going down for it. But, I mean, that's what we were saying about Twitch, is when Twitch just gets Dark Binded, it's difficult. And you can see that Twitch is just playing a little bit greedy. Couldn't really like flash out of the way. Heal was still unavailable and stayed in lane. He had really no option because that tower was going down.
Yeah, unfortunately, Twitch is now over 30 CS behind, or just under now 30 CS behind. He's not having the best time in that Caitlyn lane. And like we said, Morgana and Caitlyn doing an absolutely brilliant job of forcing their advantage that they have in that lane. In the top lane again, Ryze is still struggling to keep him in farm with Lissandra. Lissandra picking up that early blasting one for the potential that she has to deal damage. But look at the trades coming out from Ryze. He may be behind, but he can still do a good chunk of damage. Really doing a good job of using his overload, combined with his Rune Prison to get a good trade-off.
And he's also got the makings of the Catalyst, so he's starting to get that bit of tank to him that we know Ryze will inevitably end up getting with his build. Once he's got that Catalyst, the Rod of Ages, just starts getting so much health, and as soon as he pops his ultimate in team fights, will just regen it all back up as well. So it's one of those things, the Ryze is just going to get more and more difficult to kill.
Ooh, we do have a dragon fight going right now. Mango know it's going on, but they don't have vision, so they can't try and contest it. But a great ultimate comes down. I think that's going to be the only potential thing they have to contest it. The pink buff, pink ward even going down there, and Sam Hodge picking it up with a flute of the Peacemaker, so the smite not landing. In the top lane, we do have Explosive getting taken pretty low. Forced to flash. Ryze is going to follow him up, but the ultimate Explosive comes down with the Ice Shard to finish him off. And again, Ryze baited. Oh, wow, he should have waited for the ultimate, because that is such a powerful engage and a saving tool that Lissandra has.
Going back to that dragon, that's actually the second ultimate that Lemstar has used that really just had no effect. He ulted towards top lane for Lissandra in the laning phase, didn't end up getting the kill, she just used the Glacial Path to get away. That time didn't get the Dragon Steal as well. It's a big ask to get a dragon when a jungler is there, but you know, the theory is there nonetheless that, you know, he's missed 2 ultimates now. That's going to start getting in your head if that continues.
Yeah, and to quote Messiah, who's one of the famous mid lane players, talking about TF, but I guess this kind of applies to Ziggs. Your first 2 ultimates, if you use them and they do nothing, you're really going to start to be behind. So although Ziggs doesn't have the cooldown that TF has on his Destiny, it's the kind of similar mindset. It kind of puts you into the mindset that, hey, my ultimates aren't really doing what I want them to do right now. Maybe I'm not using them properly, and it might put you on tilt. Again though, every lane is struggling. Looks like Ryze is going to get a bit of damage off. One Ice Shard comes onto him though, so trading really well actually. Explosive opting to go for that early Abyssal Scepter. Very smart pickup, especially as Lissandra is the kind of mage that is in the middle of the fray. Looks like Clarify is going to get caught out by a Vi. The Black Shield is there tanking up the damage. He's not going to get slowed right now. They're just going to back off from that as well. So great Black. That's why Black Shield is so useful. Stress. It just means that any sort of skill that is used on you, don't suffer the effect of it while it's available.
Yeah, and it allowed Morgana to get close enough to her own jungle that it was the journey of the unknown there. If I were to use Assault and Battery, it would have been a pretty long ride, and just in case Das was standing there, they really didn't want to go aggressive on that. So I mean, all of the lanes for Perilous, as Twitch has been locked down in that bottom lane.
Oh, the Morgana ultimate comes out, forces the flash from Twitch, but Ace in the hole is there, not going to finish him off, didn't have the damage, and Twitch was very lucky to escape with his life.
Yeah, forced the flash and use the heal though, so that'll be good enough for Perilous to take down, not quite enough to take that kill there, but they are pushing on towards this bottom lane. Ultimate came out from Ziggs as well.
But forced the flash and the heal from Lemstar as Lulu comes round the side and gets a good bit of damage off with the Glitter Lance. In a moment we do, I'm not aware of the feedback, but I'll have a look if there's anything coming out from the mics. Well, we have an engage coming out from the Shyvana, but a great hook stops her Dragon's Ascent in mid-flight. So Val doing a great job of keeping his jungler alive right there. Right now though, Vi is very unhealthy. Hasn't even opted to go for Spirit of the Lizard Elder, is going for Ancient Golem, trying to be that tanky tank that the Mango eSports team needs right now, as Ryze is not in a position to do that for them.
Yeah, not in position for that at all. But as this game goes on, of course, Ryze will just be getting better doing that. And we are trying to fix the audio issues here, guys, so do let us know if they do end up sorting themselves, because
looks like an engage on the mid lane comes out from the Vi, but Vi is incredibly low. Assault and Battery comes out, he opts not to go for the Thresh Lantern coming out. Exhaust comes down, here comes Explosive, Teleport has been used, probably going to get killed onto Neither with the ultimate from Explosive right there, forcing the flash from Val, and I think they're just going to take that and back out.
Yeah, that will be good enough for them right now, is Perilous will rotate out towards that middle lane. Ziggs is still here, and we talked earlier about how good Ziggs is at clearing out waves, but just one minefield and a bouncing bomb will pretty much clear that one away. So not really too much to contend with there in that middle lane for Ziggs. I was going to mention earlier that actually Ziggs is the one lane that is actually doing okay here for Mango. He is ahead and has been for the best part of the last 10 minutes. And I'm not too keen on a 0-1-1 Lulu picking up a Medjay Soul Stealer right now.
Well, if she intends to keep herself in the back, picking up assists when she can, then she might be doing an okay job. Looks like Vi is going to try and get a bit of damage down onto the Caitlyn, but unfortunately doesn't have that assault and battery for the hard engage right there, so she is going to have to back off. Ziggs is in the area though, can use his ultimate, is getting some wards down, but is being picked up by the pink ward in the by the ward for the purple side in the red side jungle of the blue team. Lulu getting a good amount of damage off onto this turret. The minefield comes down for Ziggs. I don't know if he's going to be able to save the turret. No, he won't. He even uses his satchel charge to try and get the clear off there. Lulu is aware, however, that Vi is farming her wraiths right now, so she is going to be very careful while she goes to ward that red side jungle. Ziggs again using his bomb in that bot lane to no effect, and the spell shield from Morgana comes out, but here comes Thresh. He's used it already. Incoming ultimate. Twitch has got his exhaust on. He's not going to get caught out by the Dark Binding, but is going to get caught out by the ultimate. Sam Hodge is going to pick up the kill, and Lulu picking up the second kill there on the Thresh. So Lulu starting to stack that Magi Soul Stealer up. Now sitting on 2 stacks, so she only needs 4 more to make it economically viable.
Yeah, I think it is. It's between that 6 and 8 kind of point is around the kind of time where it becomes even on the gold expenditure to reward. But that was just really nice use of Black Shield down the bottom. They
looks like Explosive's going to go in onto Rise and going to pick him up with the ultimate and Ring of Frost there. Easy kill for Explosive in that top lane on the Rise.
That's just kind of the story of this game right now, is that Perilous is just picking up easy kills, and it's to be expected when Perilous is so far ahead right now.
Yeah.
Of course, being 6-1 up, 3 towers up as well, and up in CS in most of your lanes really just is translating to a big lead here. But Sam Hodge might be caught out.
Forced to use the heal, is going to get away using the heal to get the movement speed bonus there, so he's not going to get caught out by the Twitch's Expunge. Twitch did use Spray and Pray there, so doesn't have that available for any upcoming team fights. However, it will be off cooldown in roughly 100 seconds.
So, I mean, 100 seconds. As for ultimate cooldowns, that's not too bad. Well, for 80 carries is probably a little bit longer than you'd like, but you know.
Explosive now backing off near that Baron pit. There is a big CS difference between him and the Rise right now, roughly double again. So that double advantage that we saw earlier has just been extended for Lissandra and Sam Hodge in that top lane. He's doing a great job. Actually, Lissandra is one. Oh, sorry, Explosive even on Lissandra. So that's actually one of his better champions. I've seen Explosive play quite a lot across this year and this season, and Lissandra is one of his good champions that he does play quite a lot. And this is going to be another Dragon going over to Perilous Void. They're not resting on their laurels this game. They're really taking every advantage that they can get, and Dragon happens to be one of them.
Yeah, they've managed to secure 2 now. The ultimates have come in from Lemstar to try and steal them away, but just haven't quite been on point. As we mentioned earlier, difficult against a jungler with Smite. We have got a pause here, so hopefully it won't last too long. But and hopefully our audio issues have been resolved as well, because unfortunately we can't quite hear them, which I would have imagined we'd be able to hear that issue.
I do hear Stress's lovely, beautiful voice in my headset, as well as my own. Can't hear any feedback right now. Maybe a stream issue. We'll have a look after this game, guys. But right now we're concerned with bringing you all the action between these 2 teams, Perilous Void and Mango eSports. Now, this has been a fairly one-sided game, but I do like that Perilous are not taking any chances. They're not playing silly. They're not trying to 1v5. They understand that any team can knock you out in this competition. It just takes one bad play, one bad game, and Perilous are just saying, well, you know, we're not going to be that far ahead right now. We need to be taking every advantage that we can. So they've been pushing towers the correct way, timing that dragon and getting it down correctly, and farming properly in the jungle. Interestingly enough, Shyvana hasn't popped that Feral Flare yet, so we haven't seen it as quickly as we did in the FM eSports game. Sorry, in the game before that, which was
Unicorns of Love.
Unicorns of Love. So we haven't seen Shyvana pop her Feral Flare as quickly as we did that game.
She's pretty close. 23.
Pretty close, so just needs 2 more camps. So doing a good job, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think this is the kind of time that you'd start looking to have that transform. As Shyvana does have one of the best clears from the jungle. We've talked about that already, and to be honest, up until the Feral Flare changes, when Shyvana jungle was picked, it really just was synonymous with one team, pretty much, and that was Lowland Lions.
Yes.
Nobody else really played Shyvana jungle, because she was a jungler that, unless the rest of your team were winning, unless every single lane was ahead and didn't really need the gank pressure, she just had no effect on the game, because you cannot counter jungle when your lanes are behind. It's just impossible, you'll just die. So it's weird to see Shyvana in a position where, okay, their lanes are ahead for the most part. I mean, only that middle lane is different, but it's weird to see Shyvana taking that role another step forward. The fact that she's more secure in that kind of counter jungling role.
Shyvana again has been something that we haven't sort of seen very little changes to over the season. She did get changed because she did find her niche pick in that top lane, where she started becoming very anti-bruisery. She's very good against Renekton if you can survive the early laning phase. And now has sort of migrated back into that jungle position with her farming potential, really synergizing with that Feral Flare, like you said, and the sort of the style of gameplay that we do see from junglers these days, which is that farm. Ideal counter pick, especially as she's so potent in these mid-game team fights too. Now Mango are sort of grouping together. They're looking to get that 5-man push on the mid lane turret. I don't know if Perilous are going to try and engage here. Oh, a great flash Morgana ultimate, as well as the flash Lulu ultimate. All the flashes coming out from Mango here, but a good amount of damage coming across. Someone back comes onto Sam Hodge. Sam Hodge gets hooked as he flashes. That was a great pickup there, but I don't think they're going to have the damage to finish him off. And Thresher picking up the last kill there with teleport coming in from Explosive 2, and that was a 4 for 0, and unfortunately not looking good for Mango eSports right now.
Massive fight for Perilous. That flash into the wild growth just knocked everybody up in that area, and Mango just couldn't really do too much in response to it. They're actually going to push and let Morgana tank the first couple of turret shots just because of how quickly they want to get in. That's a really nice Mega Inferno Bomb, is going to keep the tower alive.
Probably the best one I've seen them do all game.
Yeah, that is an important save on that tower.
Yeah, they're not going to get that inhibitor tower. It's going to force Perilous to head back, get their items. But look, the flash TP from Rise. Oh, sorry, the TP from Rise and the flash with the Rune Prism there, so he gets the pick up on the kill on Explosive. Explosive being a bit greedy for that Wraith camp there, but now Perilous are forced to head back and do another push, and they've got to dive the turret now, even if it is very low.
That's one thing that we actually see a lot from teams, that when they get ahead they end up playing greedy, just wanting little bits of objectives around the map that really don't accumulate to that much when you start adding them up, but when you get taken out in response you actually give a lot away for them, and it's one of those things that it's just not worth it at that point.
Twitch has done a good job here, Stress, of catching up in CS to Sam Hodge. He's now only 20 behind, being an incredible difference behind beforehand, so he's been farming that bot lane really well. And Vi's done a good job of being that tanky person that she needs to be, not trying to go for the selfish damage. She's gone for the ancient golem there, so she's going to be trying to tank up the damage. But however, I just don't think the items are available for Mango eSports to be able to compete in a 5v5 team fight right now.
I mean, one thing that they have going for them is that Rise has his core, so now everything from here that he gets is just going to be an additional luxury for him. It's just going to be extra resistances, extra damage, and of course he does somewhat need the mobility at this stage. He's not exactly the most mobile of champions until he pops his ultimate, and even then it's only a very slight increase. So it's one of those things that he's so far behind on CS that really he should be further ahead. And yes, Twitch has closed that gap between himself and Caitlyn, but I'd like to see them give Rise a little bit of this free farm.
Yeah, Rise needs to. He's going to be the key here for Mango eSports if they're looking to win in 5v5 team fights. He needs to be getting AoE damage down across the board. So again, like we said, Rise really needs to be getting a bit of free farm here. And although I like Twitch getting the free farm, like you said, I don't think he's in a position where he can carry now. It's all going to be down on these AP carries, so it's going to be down to the Ziggs there. It's going to be down to the Rise. Interestingly enough, I just want to pick up on this, Stress. Ziggs opted to go for a needlessly large rod instead of finishing his Athene's as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen other mid laners do that when you're so desperate for damage.
Oh, looks like they're going to be engaged in the mid lane. A good flash of Explosive. He's trying to get the damage down onto Lemstar. The ultimate not finishing him off here. Is he going to have enough to finish off? Yes, Sam Hodge gets the kill there. A good Zhonya's, but he is going to go down to the Vi. A needless assault on battery, in my opinion, coming down. But however, they were taken low, so maybe not. But again, that's another ultimate, and I think a good bit of damage coming down for Explosive, just sacrificing himself so they can possibly take this turret.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that assault and battery was probably needed, as you say, how low they got taken down. Just was so close to ending up falling from that, but Thresh zooming out of the base was looking for a hook maybe there, but the Black Shield instantly getting put on Lulu means that no follow-up from that. But meanwhile, top lane, they're getting a lot of damage down on this inhibitor turret, and this time they will pick it up.
I comes in with the Vault Breaker there, doesn't manage to get the engage that she wanted, having no assault battery. So Rise also coming in, having not popped his ultimate, so he has got the boots now to give him that extra mobility, like you were talking about earlier, Stress, really in need of that to get into the position that he needs. So, Stress, right now, there is 2 inhibitor turrets remaining and 2 Nexus turrets remaining for Mango. They are down 13k gold. What can they do?
Well, that's a tough one to answer. They're looking for picks, which would be a good way of getting it, but I don't know whether they'll get picks against Lulu Morgana. We saw in the FM eSports game just how slippery Lulu is alone, but then add a Black Shield to that, and she's getting away from everything that you throw at her.
Twitch is coming in. He's in a bit of a precarious position right now. If Explosive opted to go in with his ultimate, may have been able to pick him off. However, is 5 seconds till it's off cooldown, so wasn't quite the right timing. So Twitch getting in a bit of a interesting position there, but probably not realising the amount of Perilous players that were still in the area.
So I think the call went out that Black Shield was used on Morgana and had already expired, and that is a fairly significant cooldown when you take into account these little small skirmishes, that it's highly unlikely that once it's been used once it'll be available again until that fight has really become prolonged. So you'll see teams very desperately trying to capitalize on that window of opportunity when Black Shield is not available, and it looked like that kind of moment that Twitch kind of pushed forward just to try and get as much damage, just get anything they can. But you know, lucky for Mango that they realized just as they're about to engage.
Mango are actually doing exactly what you said they would be doing. They're rotating as a 5 to try and get picks, so using the amount of CC that they provide to try and get these picks off 5v1. However, not quite working out for them, as they are really struggling to catch members of Perilous unaware. And right now Perilous is securing yet another global objective. It looks like Explosive is going to ward off Thresh with the Glacial path right there, and everyone from Perilous is just going to back away. Baron has not yet been tempted, even though Perilous are now 15k in the lead.
Yeah, and that field flare has now been completed for a while. We saw it at 23 stacks a little while ago, so it has been around for quite some time.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the stack she's now sitting on. 7
on top of the field.
7 on top. That's pretty decent. That's an extra, well, 21 damage to minions, which means there's another extra 7 damage to champions, which actually may not seem a lot, but once you have the attack speed counted for, it does do quite a lot of damage. The ace in the hole actually coming straight through and hitting onto the Ziggs. Looks like they're trying to engage, but Black Shield comes down. A good amount of damage comes down on the Twitch. Lulu actually having a great job with help picks, can identify Twitch before he gets into that stealth, and means he's kind of useless once he gets into that stealth position. So help picks are really good mechanic for dealing with these stealth-based champions like Carl and Twitch.
The push is on here from Perilous. The response is going to be the Ziggs ultimate. That'll clear the wave. Again, though, they got it down to half health.
Looks
They
like
might
Rice is going to get caught out. A good Shyvana ultimate comes down, and the Morgana ultimate is probably going to pick him off, but the help picks does do a bit of damage across the board there. The passive doing a bit of damage. Looks like the assault battery comes down onto the Morgana. Everyone is really low from Perilous Boy right now, but Caitlyn getting the last few hits onto the Vi, and now Twitch is coming up the back, but the Sandra ultimate finishes him off in one foul swoop, and now it just Ziggs and the inhibitor turret standing between Perilous and that inhibitor.
But Ziggs is all they need, just because of how much damage and poke he can do in the wave clear. That won't clear out that top lane inhibitor for them, as they are still pretty low, but Ziggs will get binded in place, so they've just got to dodge these bombs, and they should be able to take down an inhibitor.
Thresh is up now, and Thresh has got home guards. They need to be really careful right now. Ziggs gets caught up again, and Sam Hodge manages to take that inhibitor turret without too much problem. The ace in the hole coming out, and Ziggs jumping straight into it, thinking maybe he'll catch up Caitlyn. Is Vi going to try and get in? No, gets caught out by the Dark Binding.
Das is playing this kind of greedy recalling here, I must admit. He sweeped the bush just to make sure there was no wards in it, but had there have been a chase there, that actually was incredibly greedy positioning.
Twitch knew someone was in that brush, and he was heading there like his life depended on it to try and get the kill. That's what Mango needs right now. They just need a few kills, because I don't think they're going to get global objectives off the back of anything here, because they're just that far behind.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot to be in. I mean, they've lost most of the health on their inhibitor turret twice, and of course since the preseason patch they do now regenerate health on those inhibitor turrets, but It is by no means a fast regeneration. We can take a look, and it is now just above half health again, but it's just another weak spot for Perilous to be looking at. And they've already picked one open in the top lane. That's going to keep somebody in that top lane to defend that, which gives them the opportunity for those 5v4 situations, or even 4v4 with that teleport on Explosive.
And right now it does look like Perilous are gearing up to clear that Baron area out. Explosive has got that teleport, so if he's needed he can get straight to the fight when possible. The wards are coming in, the counter wards again coming out from Perilous, that pink ward in that ever faithful mini brush near the Baron pit, doing exactly the job it needs to do, giving you good vision control around that area.
They need to send Vio to deal with Lissandra, but they've had Twitch in a solo lane because you need the teleport against the teleport. Otherwise, there's no point.
They're doing it right now.
Yeah, they've just sent him back for that. But now that this has been spotted, look at the response from Perilous. They know they've got the item advantage, and Explosive and Vio are just going to go 1v1.
Twitch is going to go, and he's in such a weird position right now. If he gets caught out by the Lulu when he comes out, he'll be in a very bad position. Vio's going to get killed 1v1 by Lissandra. That's going to be a free inhibitor turret going down there if she pushes any further. Twitch is in such an odd position right now. He's going to get caught out. He's going to try and back away using the stealth, but will Das catch him up? The burnout is giving him movement speed. The Dragon's Descent comes down. Is Twitch going to get out of here? He does get the stealth down, and unfortunately a Pillar of Peacemaker hits him in the face.
So Vio needed to defend versus Explosive. What actually happened was Vio and Explosive were fighting here, which is not where you want to fight Alessandra. If you're ever going to fight...
Oh, yes, but the Assault and Battery comes down with Explosive. Oh, Zhonya's may save his life for a few seconds, but I think he's going to go down.
But the cost of this is knowing the Smite is in the bottom lane is a Baron. And that's an incredibly vulnerable bottom tower, and Explosive still has teleport available. So Explosive now still has that weak spot on the map for Mango down in that bottom lane, and it just means that okay, Mango are getting things here and there, they're getting a kill, but they're losing health on a turret, they're losing control of a Baron, and this is just continually happening to them because this is just a snowball effect of being ahead.
Explosive doing a good job for his team right now, putting pressure where he needs to and winning out in those 1v1 trades, so he's really putting the map pressure that Perilous need to capitalize with, and they have been capitalizing with the stress.
They have indeed, and I mean, it's one of those things that we've seen from some of the teams that have been around at iSeries a little bit more times and a few more events than others, as Mango are a fairly new team here to iSeries, whereas Perilous, I believe, were at least at the last one. I remember casting them
also at Epic
previously.
Land this year.
Also at Epic, so they've had the experience of being in these kind of games. It's a little bit later in the evening, later than some tournaments do play their games, but you know, these guys are all here to get out of their group stage. Well, two teams from each group will advance.
Yeah, and right now Perilous have such good control of the map, they're freely taking away that red buff from any potential suitors for it on the side of Mango eSports. Twitch, unfortunately, now working towards that last whisper, but Caitlyn 2 items ahead right now, so she's going to be doing tons of damage compared to the 0-5 Twitch, who's not in a happy place right now. Oh, look at the damage. All they need is a couple of hits on that mid lane turret, on the bottom turret even. Looks like Explosive's going to try and get an engage right now. I think they're just going to back off. Mango trying to get the hook, manages to miss. The Inferno Bomb only hits onto the Shyvana, not the best target right there. Explosive comes in with the Ring of Frost, gets the kill with Vass onto Vio. Looks like Vi is in the right position to be getting killed, and then Twitch goes down to the ultimate to Lissandra, and Vi now going to get picked off by the ace of the hole. So this is going to be game, I think, to Perilous.
Yeah, with the super minions pushing in, they're against the inhibitor in the top lane, but they will be pushing forward. Minions come in through the bottom. That is a return kill, however, for Ziggs picking off Shyvana, but the rest of the team here from Perilous are just taking down the Nexus turrets, and that is going to be Perilous Void advancing into their next games. I think we still got one set of games left for the group stages, so I can't say for sure whether they'll be advancing, but certainly they're a favourite out of their group.
Yeah, Perilous Void, one of our higher seeds in the tournament, and showing exactly why they are considered such a good team. All the team members performing to their Diamond 1 standard that their solo queue tags so proudly display. So this has been our 3rd round match, I believe, in the Razer Challenger Cup hosted at I-51. I just want to give a shout out to Razer, so that's at Razer on Twitter and razerzone.com. You can go check out all of the stuff there that they have to offer. I'm Exscoundrel, and I'm casting with Dignitas Stress. You can catch him on Twitter at Dignitas Stress. You can catch me at Exscoundrel, and we'll be coming back at you with a 4th round or 5th round game, depending on where we are, in the next few minutes.